Test. Hello and welcome once again to Region Weather Live. I am your host, Brad Warner, meteorologist Brad Warner, and we're going to take a look at what's going on with the weather tonight and with this storm going into the weekend. So, thank you all for joining me. Please, as always, like and share and do all that fun stuff down below. Please, just doing that kind of stuff just helps maybe get this little program off the ground a little bit more. Also, don't forget to visit my little Twitter page down there. And then you'll also see my Facebook. Please join that so you kind of know when I'll be going live and you can be around to join. All right, let's just jump right into it. What we've got going on right now, we've got some snow off in the northern parts of North Dakota, kind of as we expected. This area has been slowly moving to the north and east. And with it, some of this has been a little moderate at times. We'll take a look at the other radar here shortly, but within that, kind of in that Minot area down to west of Devil's Lake, we are picking up some snow. And as we've expected, moving to the north and east, getting some accumulation with that. Right now, winds are generally out of the east southeast. As you get off into the eastern parts of the region, into the Minnesota and through the valley, you can see it's pretty light. But once we get a little bit further west, we're actually picking up some gusts of 30 miles per hour down in the southwest, 32 down here just into the Montana border, and then some 20s and some 30s up here in the northwest as well. So a little bit breezy out there. Temperatures right now are sitting generally in the single digits out in the northern parts of Minnesota. Some negatives out there like Hibbing. Oh, just southeast of it when that one is. But and then Dickinson is showing 30, and some of these are not right anymore. Oh, there they are. That's better. Into the mid 20s down in the southwest and further in the north. As we take a look at the actual radar out of Minot, you can kind of see where some of these heavier bands right now are. Take a stop and put that forward there. Currently, the heaviest bands look like they're right around Botno, just north of Mohall, north of Bowbells, and then kind of in between that Rugby Candu area. Picked a better color, just right in there. Um, So within that region, we'll probably see some reduced visibilities. Um, you know, More specifically, right now, Willow, Botno, Lorraine, kind of in that West Hope, Knox, the east of Rugby, not quite the Devil's Lake. As we've been seeing from that motion, um, generally just kind of sliding to the north and east as this is moving. Looks like the actual cells kind of sliding to the southeast, so it makes it look hard to say which way they're really going. But this band, this line in general, is going to be moving that direction. So you can expect some areas like a Starkweather, Mesa, Candu, uh, up through Wales, Eventually, this area is all expected to move up into the northeastern part of Dakota as we go through the nighttime hours. Currently, as we take a look at the road conditions, see we got some scattered snow, scattered ice in the north central part associated with that snow. Rest of the state is pretty good. Um, Here's a camera out of West Hope. This is on North Dakota 5 mile marker 152. Doesn't look real great out there. Boy, you can see the little Star Wars effect, as I like to say. It looks like the stars are coming right at you. Here's the snow blowing right at you, but you can also see the snow on the ground, snow on the road. Um, not looking too great up there. That's West Hope, so that's north of Minot. This is northwest of Minot here, Carpio. You can see here roads are pretty snow covered. Looks like obviously not a lot of traffic going on. Highway 52, mile marker 68. So yeah, actually quite a bit of snow out in those roads. So they picked up a fair amount of snow already. So with that, as you know, because we are seeing some good returns on there, um, it looks like some areas are going to be picking up a couple inches of snow overnight, mainly in this north central to northeastern parts of the state, from that Mohawk, Botno, kind of into that Turtle Mountain area, then maybe into Langdon, and I think as it moves to the further in the northeast, Cavalier, Hallock probably won't pick up quite as much. All right, going right into that forecast here as we look at the overnight and what the models are showing with that trend as that snow moves in the northeast. You can see kind of tapers off a little bit, doesn't do a whole lot. Now as we get into the afternoon hours on Friday afternoon, little bit of purple picking up here, and we'll go over that in just a bit on what's in store. Here you can see what the model is showing just as far as the possible accumulations overnight tonight and tomorrow morning. Not really showing a lot. I would think some areas are going to be picking up more. Well, here it is showing probably a couple inches, so that's reasonable. I think 1 to 2 inches is possible in the central, maybe an inch in the far northeast. But otherwise, most areas overnight really it's going to be pretty light accumulation. As we are talking about that snow and we're going to be talking about that little purple blob that's down here. Boy, it looks like as this system ejects out, the system that we've been talking about for the last few days, most of the snow and the heavier freezing rain and freezing the ice pellets and all that will stay kind of south of our main area. Now, that doesn't mean the whole areas, areas in the southeastern parts of North Dakota, maybe far south central, will still likely get some snow, but it doesn't look like it's going to be as much as some of this heavier stuff that's kind of pulling through parts of South Dakota and then especially into southwestern Minnesota and up through the Arrowhead region of Minnesota once this system finally does eject. And as maybe you've seen there, it almost looks like it comes through in two waves. You got this little bit Friday night into early Saturday morning where you've got this freezing rain and sleet and some rain and some snow. And then that kind of moves off. And then the secondary system and really the main part of the low starts to move in and the main batch of moisture comes in. Then we've got even heavier bands of freezing rain and sleet and snow moving in at least to parts of South Dakota and southern Minnesota through the day on Saturday. Now, as I said, parts in the southeast will probably pick up a few inches of snow, not a whole lot. But what you're not really seeing on here exactly is the possibility of some freezing drizzle. And I've said before that models don't really pick that up too well. So you got to look a little deeper into some other aspects of what the model is showing. And we might have, I've shown this before, just so some of you know. This is the relative humidity at the lower. This is going up 3 kilometers or roughly about 5,000 feet. Well, 3,000 feet, a little over 3,000 feet. Um, and what we're seeing is some pretty high relative humidities, 98% up to that level. And the problem is, once we go up on that, the temperatures or the relative humidity dries out. We're going to take a look at the sounding within this area, and I'm going to show you kind of what I mean when it comes to some of this stuff. So this red line here is the temperature, and the green line is the dew point. Now temperature and dew point are close together like they are here. You can expect clouds and rain or precipitation to fall. And generally, most of us are pretty used to that when we talk about temperature and dew point at the surface. We get fog, we get precipitation. So that's, really the lower 3 kilometers or so of the atmosphere are very saturated. Now, this is overnight Friday night into very early parts of Saturday morning. The other interesting part of this is where the temperature is actually lined up. Here is the 0 degree Celsius mark and the 10 degree. And you can see the temperatures are right in between those two marks, between the 0 and 10 degree Celsius line. Now, what that means, just a little explanation here. Uh, the actual freezing point of just water by itself when it's suspended in the air is colder than 0 degrees Celsius or colder than 32 degrees Fahrenheit. It takes something for these little molecules to glob onto before they freeze. So because they're suspended and they what we are called super cooled, they're still in the form of liquid. Their temperature is still between that 0 and 10 mark. So it's just suspended super cooled liquid droplets until it grabs onto something. So what happens is now, because we have this lower layer of moisture that looks like fog or freezing drizzle, once it touches the ground or reaches the ground and touches surfaces, that's when it freezes. So unfortunately, that's what we are looking at because we have this lower level that is saturated. It's not quite cold enough for it to be snow. So we're going to be looking at the potential of some freezing drizzle. Well, we're looking at this again Friday night into early parts of Saturday morning. Where exactly? Well, here we're looking at 3 a.m. For Saturday morning. Here is the 0 degree line Celsius, and here is that 10 degree line. Go back to our little relative humidity map, and everywhere there's blue, and even some of this up here, there's some moisture even below this level. You can expect the possibility of some drizzle, some freezing rain, maybe some snow, but just it's going to be a big mixed bag of maybe some garbage overnight on Friday night into Saturday morning. So you got some travel plans, basically central, eastern parts of North Dakota, northern parts of Minnesota, even portions of South Dakota. This is out ahead of that system. That's kind of out ahead of once that before that system really starts to work its way in. It looks like more so the low level stuff works in first before the rest kind of catches up. And eventually it does as we get into the day on Saturday. We could see, even here at noon on Saturday, still plenty of low level moisture. But as I click back on that sounding, we're going to see that temperature dew point going to be close, a little bit further up into the atmosphere. A little bit dry here, but still not much. And what happens at this point is because we do have some colder temperatures, some colder precipitation higher up. That's going to fall as snow and is going to fall into those lower layers, and it's going to do what we call seeding, and it's basically just all going to eventually fall as snow. So as we go into the day on Saturday, that whatever is falling as freezing drizzle and is going to be freezing fog should eventually mix out and become more in just the light snow type of scenario. All right. So the main thing, though, the good thing, other than, well, we're going to have to be dealing with some freezing drizzle. The main band of, the really heavy band of snow or the heavier bands of snow and freezing rain and sleet are going to be down in the south. So we will have some travel impacts with this with North Dakota and northern Minnesota. It's going to be some slick roads, very possibly, and it might be scattered in some areas where some might get some might not. Where exactly is going to be tough, but just be aware that possibility is very. I mean, I definitely think we will see slick roads overnight, Friday night, Saturday morning. Just a matter of exactly where. That system does pull out Saturday night into Sunday. We're left with a little bit of winds. Um, and then also just what's left of the heavier freezing precip. Here's one model tonight. You can see quite a bit of freezing precip. I mean, this one's predicting over a quarter inch of freezing precipitation throughout this region of Minnesota. I mean, that's quite a bit. The other one that's come in tonight as well, kind of the same area, really. I mean, the areas are very similar, so it looks like the model's honing in a little more as to where exactly that freezing precip's going to be, but not quite as much. But still, a tenth of an inch of freezing rain, freezing some sleet is not good. That's going to be tough sledding out there. And then here, this model is picking up on some of that freezing drizzle, freezing rain in the central parts of the state. But I do think there is that possibility further east of that as well. Wind wise, as we noted here, um, here's about where we had depicted for the freezing rain. But wind gusts as we get into that Saturday night, early Sunday morning time frame, we're talking 30, 35 miles per hour, outside chance of 40, but I don't think this seems like this system just doesn't quite maybe have that in it. There's not quite the hard cold push of cold air on the backside of this, so we're probably looking 30 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts. However, with some of that freezing rain that's out there, or even that freezing drizzle, um, could who knows? Maybe it'll be enough to break a branch or two, or just gotta be mindful when it comes to the whole electricity stuff and winds and freezing rain, especially if they'd get as much as a quarter inch in some areas, that wouldn't be good for the power lines when you're talking 35 mile per hour gusts. I think that'd probably be enough to do a little bit of damage and create some power outages. So we'll have to see if you're traveling down in that area over the weekend. Just that. I did mention the other night about possibility in that Minneapolis area. It still looks like maybe in that very early Friday night, early Saturday morning time frame is when the airport and kind of that Minneapolis region would have its best chance of freezing rain. But then it looks like as that system through, more warm air kind of pushes north as that system moves to the northeast. And it looks like most of it, as we get into the daytime hours, falls as rain and pushes the freezing precip further north. Now, as we kind of take a look at the temperatures and what's going to happen, like I said, not a big push right away. This is we're getting into Sunday morning, and we're still in the 20s, the teens, and then we get into more of that Sunday night into Monday morning. Some colder temperatures, some single digits in there, but generally single digits to teens to maybe a 20-degree out in the far western part of North Dakota. So not a real strong cold push, which tells me, like I said before, the winds won't be that spectacular. I mean, there's going to be some, but at least like we've been dealing with here in the valley, we're not going to be looking at 50 to 60 miles per hour. Thank God for that. Extended outlook as we look at the temperatures beyond that, the day or throughout the week, it actually looks okay. I mean, seasonable. I guess I would maybe call it, or I would take it anyway. I mean, we're still looking at teens in the north, maybe some 30s down in the southwest, until you get closer to kind of to the weekend. Next weekend, it does look like their models, not just this one, but a couple of them are looking a cold air push into Friday and Saturday, where we're talking temperatures well below zero once more. Um, and that lasts into Sunday, and then things try to warm up once after that. Actual storm system wise, once that system moves through, again, well, looks like possibility of a little system. Come on, computer. There you are. Maybe a little bit of light snow in the far northern parts of Minnesota, North Dakota on Tuesday, but a little bit, maybe a heavier one comes through. Another little clipper system comes through Wednesday, late into the day Wednesday. Like most of that snow, it will be falling in across northern North Dakota, northern Minnesota. Maybe some accumulations there. It looks like maybe 2 to 3, which is kind of typical for a clipper. And then here's our systems that eject out south and is going to be causing probably some havoc to portions of area as one system after another moves through there. But otherwise, we're just looking at high pressure that moves in over the weekend, and then it starts to warm up, and maybe we'll have a few more chances of snow next week, but we'll see what happens there. So that's what we're looking at for the weekend. Uh, Tyler, I'm just doing for North Dakota and Minnesota. I'm sorry. You're a meteorologist, Tyler. You figure it out. Why do I got to tell you? But I appreciate you coming on. That's awesome. Miss you, buddy. Wish you were back here. All right. Well, got anything else to add there? All right. Otherwise, you're traveling through north central part of North Dakota tonight, maybe off in the northeast. Probably some travel hazards up there. Taking a look, we've got some scattered snow and ice central part of North Dakota, and it looks like south of maybe some scattered ice there as well. On save me at work tonight. I don't know. I don't uh, at work. I don't think I can save you at. I don't think you'd want my saving. Probably. That's probably. I'll just. I'll leave it to you. I'll leave it to the professional. I don't know about Seattle weather. Seattle weather confuses. That's why I'm sticking to what I know. Good old Dakotas and Minnesota, right? You're used to forecasting for. Although it's been a while. Maybe you don't. Worth a mile. That West Hope. Looking real great. Whether Brad greater than accountant Brad. Thank you. I would agree with that. I think I would agree with that. Although I am a hell of an accountant though. Don't let that let that fool you there. But which just means it shows how good of a weather guy. All right, everybody. Hey Tyler, good kind of seeing you on here. I sure do appreciate it, man. And yep, miss you, man. Um, yep, those cameras are not making you miss Dakota, I'm sure. Boy, you've missed yeah, it's been a doozy out here. What are we up to? 8 blizzards in throughout kind of the valley region. We're up to 8. And most of it's just been just blowing snow, just blowings. I mean, you shovel it and it blows back. And I even talking to my parents in Bismarck who they barely had any snow this winter. And that's basically, I mean, I had to explain it to them because they're like, they've hardly had any. And I'm like, we blow it away, we shovel it away, and the same stuff just keeps blowing back. And you shovel it and it blows back. I mean, it's not like we keep adding 6 inches at a time. It's just these stupid little clippers that just drop an inch of snow and give us a bunch of wind, and that's really about all we've gotten now over in the eastern part of the state. So it's been annoying, and then cold, obviously, behind that. Boy, I would take Seattle right now. Actually, I'd take anywhere. The way this winter's been, but is I need to go down to southwestern parts of North Dakota because they've been pretty warm. Even my daughter in Bismarck, every once in a while she'll send me a Snapchat and it'll be like, "Hey, Dad, 50 degrees." I'm like, Thanks. But yeah, yeah, thanks, Caitlin. Appreciate that. Sitting over here freezing my butt off. So, all right, everybody. I think we are going to sign off. Good seeing you, Tyler. No, don't complain about the rain, because I would take the rain over the snow any day right now. Any day. No, don't complain about the rain. Nope, nope, nope. I win. Uh, all right, man. I better go so this doesn't get too long and it doesn't become the Tyler and Brad show. Um, please like, share, do all that fun stuff. Make sure people know about this, and we will tune in to you hopefully tomorrow night and take a look at what's going on. And see what the latest models bring. Have a good night, everybody.